A U.S. company is backing Ukraine in the development of a missile defense system, similar to Israel's Iron Dome, to prevent Russian rockets from striking its civilians. So what is the Sky project? And how will this help Ukraine to fight against Russia? Curious to know? Let's find out. Former President Ronald Reagan envisioned a Star Wars-style air defense system to protect the United States from incoming Soviet nuclear missiles. But the sci-fi-inspired Strategic Defense Initiative technology proved too expensive and complex to implement in the mid-1980s. 4 decades later, Just Answer CEO Andy Kurtzig and the Lviv IT cluster are creating the Ukraine Iron Dome, a transportable, all-weather air defense structure meant to intercept and destroy Russian rockets and artillery shells. The combined project, codenamed Sky Project, is sponsored and supplied by Just Answer, a San Francisco-based startup with over 250 employees in war-torn Ukraine. The Lviv Military Administration, Ukraine Air Command West, Software Association of Japan, ITSMF Japan, and others are also involved in the initiative, though the partnership would welcome support from Ukraine's military. Just Answer is developing the Ukraine Iron Dome with the Lviv IT cluster, a transportable all-weather air defense system meant to intercept and destroy rockets and artillery projectiles. Iron Dome is based on an Israeli anti-missile and anti-rocket system that has shown to be quite successful. Ukraine's plan, which did not receive Israeli assistance in developing the project, is to radically upgrade air defense in 2 stages, overhauling a command center and 45 mobile monitoring centers that collect information about incoming missiles, to dramatically improve an air defense that currently only swats down 20% of Russian rockets and missiles. Ukraine has an old poor system that we are rebuilding in a startup-like manner with improved computer systems of sophisticated new hardware and software, according to Kurtzig, possibly the tech industry's most vocal advocate of Ukraine. The United States has not helped to seal the airspace since the beginning of this conflict, he said. His company has kept operations in Ukraine going since the crisis began, and he recently paid a visit to colleagues there. My April trip was amazing and emotional, but there was true dread, Kurtzig added. Air raid sirens struck a chord with me. They have to cope with it almost every day. The Air Defense Upgrade Initiative comes on the heels of President Joe Biden's pledge on Wednesday of an additional $1 billion in weapons and help for Ukraine, which has been a hotspot of tech innovation for U.S. corporations for at least a decade. Startups, medium businesses, and major brands such as Google parent Alphabet Incorporated, Oracle, Cisco, and Snap have made considerable investments in Ukraine, a country that has proven to be a valuable resource for engineering expertise, 3D modeling, and customer service. Drones can also be seen in the Ukrainian sky. At least 4 Dragonfly medical response drones are patrolling the skies, delivering medical supplies, antibiotics, and insulin to hard-to-reach locations under Russian bombardment. Dragonfly CEO Cameron Chell was in Ukraine last week, assisting in the launch of more drones into the air. According to the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, the war in Ukraine has resulted in 10,094 civilian casualties, with 4,509 killed and 5,585 injured. The majority of those were caused by explosives such as rockets or airstrikes. Part of Russia's aim is to bomb everything and instill fear, confusion, and mistrust in the Ukrainian people, Kurtzig continued. We're attempting to thwart that strategy. The United States Congress has approved $40 billion in aid for Ukraine and other conflict-affected countries, the 6th aid package since the war began. This package looks ahead months rather than weeks, which is a significant change. The aid package includes $19 billion for urgent military assistance to Ukraine, which will help to sustain Ukrainian resistance, as well as $3.9 billion to keep U.S. forces in Europe. The package also includes around $16 billion in economic assistance to Ukraine, worldwide humanitarian relief, and a wide range of foreign projects, as well as $2 billion in long-term support to NATO partners and DoD modernization programs. Although certain aspects of the aid package will be available immediately, others will take years to fully implement. This begs the question of why long-term elements could not have gone through the normal congressional authorization and budget processes. The timing for this aid package reflects the assumption of a long conflict, which is a significant change. Prior relief packages were only meant to last a few weeks. Nobody knew how long the battle would last or whether Ukraine would survive. This on February 25, March 12, March 16, April 5, April 13, April 21, and April 24 packages were released. This package deviates from that pattern. Instead of a few weeks, this bundle is valid until September 30, the conclusion of the fiscal year. Military aid to Ukraine averaged around $30 million per day during the first 5 weeks of the conflict, omitting economic and humanitarian aid and the expenditures of U.S. personnel deployed to Europe during the crisis. A succession of $800 million aid packages in April meant a daily level of $100 million. This plan raises the daily aid amount of $135 million. Aid from the US, NATO, and other countries has been critical in allowing Ukraine to keep its military fighting for nearly 3 months. Combat forces require a steady supply of munitions and supplies. Without them, combat efficacy deteriorates and eventually fails. Major weapons, originally Soviet-era and then NATO standard weapons, have allowed Ukrainian troops to replenish losses and generate extra fighting capacity. Bottom line, without these aid packages, Russia would be on the border with Poland and Romania. Helping Ukraine has strong bipartisan backing. It's one of the front lines of the war on terror, and a successful defense will strengthen NATO and lessen the likelihood of future confrontations. Furthermore, the battle appears to be ongoing, so having a 5-month aid package makes sense. This eliminates the need to deliver a new package every week while not going so far as to solicit funds that may never be required. One can wonder if all of this money needs to come through a supplementary budget, which receives less scrutiny than regular appropriations. For example, unlike the regular DoD authorization and funding processes, which include many hearings and long deliberations, there has been no single hearing on this package. Long-term items could be left to the normal cycle. Furthermore, the high sum of money donated may necessitate greater control than present organizations can supply. To their credit, Congress and the administration have included some in the package, but this may not be enough. A framework similar to the Special Inspector General for Afghanistan reconstruction could be useful. For weeks, there has been talk of a Ukrainian counteroffensive in the Russian-occupied province of Kherson, but progress has been slowed. Although Ukrainian forces have advanced to surrounding towns, they have requested more heavy-duty weapons in order to launch a full-fledged counteroffensive. The head of Ukraine's Ministry of Defense's intelligence has now stated that the counteroffensive launched in August should provide visible results. He stated that it would be challenging but not impossible. Kherson has been under Russian control since the early stages of the invasion, and its city was the first significant city to fall to the invaders. According to the chief of Ukraine's military intelligence, Ukrainian troops are gathering in Lysychansk to obtain a tactical advantage over Russia. Kirilo Budanov, speaking from Kyiv, said it was no longer possible to hold a line in Severodonetsk, which had fallen to Russian forces. But the soldiers would continue to defend from the nearby city of Lysychansk. The activities taking place in the Severodonetsk area are a tactical regrouping of our soldiers. This is a retreat to favorable locations in order to gain a tactical advantage, he said. Ukraine's government declared Monday that its forces would leave Severodonetsk. Mr. Budanov went on, Russia is employing the same strategy that it did in Mariupol, erasing the city from the face of the planet. Given the circumstances, defending in the ruins and open fields is no longer feasible. As a result, Ukrainian soldiers are retreating to high terrain to resume defense operations. Yes, this is the only higher ground, he answered when asked if he meant Lysychansk. Meanwhile, Severodonetsk mayor has announced that the Russian occupiers have selected a commandant of the city. So what do we think about this project? While most of the Ukrainian economy has suffered since Russia's invasion, the technology sector has held up fairly well. This is partly due to the fact that the majority of the company's clients are located in other countries, and workers can work from practically anywhere. This struggle between Ukraine and Russia has lasted decades, and we believe that this project will put a stop to it all. Anyway, what do you all think about this? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. With that being said, see you in the next one. Until then, peace.